Hello again, YouTube. This is Dave the Mechanic, and today we are working on a Lexus LS460. And today we are changing the radiator. I already have the car in the air. I'm using my jack, and I placed it on the part of the little fin frame that runs on the side, and I have a jack stand right behind that. And I have a jack stand. It's not really making contact, but it's a part of the frame that runs more to the middle, just to be extra safe. Now let's go ahead and drain this coolant. There's a drain on the bottom right here. Get your container. Now I'm going to use the pliers and turn counterclockwise. That will break the seal, and I can go ahead and start to unthread that. And there we go. And now our coolant is draining. What I'm going to want to do first is get off these tabs with these covers here. They're basically a couple of tabs. If you have one of these or a flathead screwdriver, you can get up underneath them and pry them up and out. And once you get all those tabs up, you can get the covers off. Right now I'm only concerned with well, of course, 1, 2, 3 and the main cover. This one just pulls up. All right, I got the 2 side covers removed. Really, we might not have to remove the one here, but they come off so easily. I'll take them off anyways. But this one here, once you get these tabs off, there's 5 of them, then there's something holding on the bottom. You have to pull till you hear it pop up like that. And there's one on this side too, so they both pop off at the same time. And once you get that out of the way, you have this cover, which is the same thing. There's 2 spots here in the front that's holding it. You gotta pull up on it, and then there's 2 in the back, one in this corner, one in this corner. You grab it and you pull up, and that pretty much is how you remove the top cover. Now we have to remove this part of the intake. It's real simple. There's 2 10mm bolts here, and then we'll pull it off of these 2 sides. I'll show you how to remove this part now. Actually, you have these 2 tabs here. If you pull back, it basically is rubber. It slides off, and then if you squeeze here and pull, it finishes pulling it off. So same thing, you pull it back, then you squeeze in the middle and pull. Now that's off. Now we can go ahead and squeeze off. Now we can remove that. Our next step is going to be to remove this part, which is just the reservoir, and also where the cap is. You have 2 more 10mm bolts here, and you have 1 hose here and 1 hose here. Okay, the hoses are removed. Now I'm going to attack these 2 10mm bolts, and this part should lift straight up and out. Okay, now we're going to remove our hoses. Start with the upper radiator hose. There's a hose clamp here. We're going to get some pliers, squeeze that, move it back, and get that hose off. And I'm going to show you the bottom. All right, now we just got to get this hose clamp off, and then we got to get this other hose clamp off for the transmission line. So that one is for transmission line, and this one is for the coolant. I'm going to show you a trick for a hose, a radiator hose, if it's too tight for you to get off. Once you have the hose clamp off, if it's stuck on there, get you some pliers, channel locks. If you adjust it out to the diameter of the hose, and you get a nice soft grip on it, and you just twist from left to right, then you can get that hose broken free and then you will be able to get it off. And that's how you get off a seat hose. Okay, so that last hose is off. Now we can work on the transmission lines. See, here I have some real small C-clamps. They look big because it's close to the camera, but you don't have to do this, but they actually make little line breakers that you can put on that will stop the flow, the backflow, once you take this off, because the transmission fluid is going to want to come out of this hose. So the C-clamps are going to slow that down drastically. If your line is too brittle and the C-clamp looks like it's going to break your line or crack your line, then that means you should probably replace that hose anyways. So it shouldn't be too much harm that come from doing this. They literally make tools, different tools for you to pinch hoses like this anyways. Okay, I got them off, and like I said, you don't have to do it this way. You can always just put something underneath and catch the fluid to put it back in later. I don't want to guesstimate how much fluid is going to drip out, so that's the reason why I did this. Okay, now it's time to remove this grill. There's a 10mm bolt that came off of here, and there's two. This one seems to be a small star pattern screw, and this just seems to be a plastic tab. So I'm going to get those two out, along with once you get this 10mm bolt here out, and we'll go from there. Alright, so once you have the two tabs out of the side and the bolt out of the middle, basically on the inside of this there's a bunch of tabs all around, and they have little hooks on them, and you have to get these tabs pressed in to on a hook, press them in, and you slide it out, and it goes all around. So once you work on the top, you have to basically slide your hand in here and start to work those tabs, undo those tabs one at a time, and begin to pull that grill back. Now when the grill is off, you're going to want to unplug this horn, or both of the horns, and you're going to want to unplug this sensor. Now to remove this top, we're going to start with this. There's 4 bolts. There's 1 here, 2 on the other side, 3, 4. We're going to start with those, and we're going to see how much loose this can get. After getting those 4 bolts off, it's still being held on by this one, so we're going to get that one off and see what happens. There's also 4 tabs up top here. They're easy to come off. If you take the pliers and you squeeze the sides of them by pushing them down, then they'll drop through. Alright, so even with this bolt off, it's still attached by here. So to make this easy, I'm just going to keep these 4 bolts off, and that's going to make you just able to move back and forth, and that should give us all the room that we need without having to remove this completely. So once we get our fans off and this part here, the radiator should be able to lean forward and pull up. So we're going to just leave this loose for now. So there's a piece here that comes off real easy. You're just going to pull it off of the box, and then pull it off of the fan and the radiator combo. Alright, and set that to the side. And now we can go ahead and unplug our fan, squeeze and pull. A little hard there. This fan connection is a little hard to come off, so I'm just going to use some pliers to squeeze it. and twist at the same time, and voila. So now that fan is disconnected. Now if you look here, there's some squeeze tabs that's holding this fan in here, and if you squeeze these tabs and pull the fan forward, the top half of this fan should separate. Okay, when it separates, it's going to look something like this, and the connector is being held on here by a couple of tabs. We can go ahead and pop those out. That way we can move our fan out of the way. All right, once we have that line off and out of the way, then we can pull back on the radiator while we pull up on the fan, and the fan should come up and out. Okay, the fan is out. It might make it easier for you to get it out if you take this dipstick out, or if you undo this 10mm bolt here, then you'll be able to move this dipstick around. But I got the fan out now, so now we can start working on the radiator itself. Like the video, you thought it was helpful, be sure to hit the like, subscribe button. Also, if you feel this video saved you some money, don't be afraid to leave a little tip in the Cash App. The more reactions and support that I receive is the more content that I'll make.